The Mario Kart World Direct has come and gone. The game has some crazy cool looking mechanics, absolutely stunning graphics, and the new wall riding and grinding moveset paired with the new charge jump move seem to give this game a really fun looking sense of verticality that I cannot wait to try out when I play it. With that all being said, in my opinion, we have not seen anything about this game that justifies an $80 price tag. There's no full campaign to speak of, battle mode doesn't utilize the open world or 24 racer gimmick that well at all, and technically there's only a third of the tracks here from a deluxe. This Mario Kart Direct was Nintendo's chance to prove the naysayers wrong, and in my opinion, they frankly blew it. So let me explain why by going over why Nintendo themselves made the Direct disappointing, what the game itself seems to be missing, what the Direct was definitely missing, and at the end, I'm going to be going over some of the arguments I've seen as to why this game is worth $80. Just wanted to preface this by saying I'm obviously still overall very excited for Mario Kart World. It's my favorite game series of all time, so any new entry I will most likely still enjoy. And even if this wasn't my job, I'd still be buying the newest entry at whatever price tag Nintendo set it at.
Shut up and take my money!
Just because I love playing Mario Kart so much, it's really fun. Because of that, I've been consistently blown away by how cool this game looks. As soon as actual Mario Kart players have been getting hands-on time through the Nintendo Switch 2 experiences, I've seen pretty much nothing but really positive looking impressions of the game. An open world Mario Kart game is a dream come true, but when we saw that $80 price tag, our expectations reasonably went up. If this was $60, I would have absolutely no issue, but skipping $70 and going straight to $80 seems a little too insane to be real. I personally was giving Nintendo the benefit of the doubt here. $80 is a very steep asking price. My thought process was everything I'd seen of the game from the previews and whatnot looks fun, but just having an open world doesn't justify a $20 price hike over the last Mario Kart game, especially when, just by the nature of the games, that last game is going to smoke the new entry in terms of the quantity of tracks department. That's not a knock against Mario Kart World, but it's just true. So if they feel confident enough to make that new entry $20 more expensive, I began looking for a reason as to why. Because what we've seen so far looks really good, but it looks like a new Mario Kart. It's a big shakeup for the series, but I was looking for that smoking gun as to why this game is $20 more expensive. And Nintendo told me exactly where to look, because they stated multiple times that this Mario Kart Direct would justify the price. They specifically said on the treehouse that free roam has a lot left that they're yet to show. Doug Bowser and Bill Trinan also spoke to the media, explicitly stating to watch this Direct whenever people asked them, how are you charging $80 for this game? All of the potential was right there too. This is the first open world Mario Kart game. They're charging an extra $20 for it, and they have a whole Direct dedicated to the game. That would have been the perfect place to show off any sort of single player campaign story mode. And do not come at me saying, oh, why would Mario Kart need a story mode? If they can do it for Mario Baseball, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Party, they can do it for the first open world Mario Kart game. Seeing stuff like new characters, the roster has been sick, but there are very notable exceptions like Diddy and Funky Kong being missing, or imagining what they could do for something as crazy as battle mode with 24 racers. Yes, our expectations were high, but Nintendo set them that way when they priced the game at $80, then pointed to this Direct for answers. The Direct then proceeded to show off nothing we didn't already know. It could have been an email.
In Mario Kart World, you'll aim for first place in each Grand Prix.
You serious?
Every course shown we've seen already in hands-on gameplay. Every character on that roster we saw in the overview trailer. Even the supposed hook for free roam. You know, the P-switches, question mark panels, and Peach medallions. We did not learn anything new about those that we didn't already know, because we already saw them. Yeah, like the P-switches will be fun, but as far as it looks, this is still just a mostly giant, empty open world to drive around, with nothing like boss fights, NPCs and missions, shops, or anything of the such to actually utilize it to its fullest potential. After universal outrage over these prices, with the treehouse streams being spammed with drop the price, this Mario Kart Direct was Nintendo's big chance to prove everyone saying that wrong and justify the price. I just can't say this Direct did that. Most of the Direct was just overviewing courses we've already seen, talking about characters and items we already knew about, and giving us zero hints that there's more content to unlock other than, well, Rainbow Road, which we also already knew about, although that was a leak, so, you know, I'll give them a little leeway. In a video we made a few days ago, there were 4 things I said needed to be covered in this Direct that would convince me that this game was worth $80. A substantial single-player campaign, battle mode, a better look at the roster, and maybe the announcement of like free DLC. Now, all of those things could still be confirmed in the future. The game is not out. I cannot judge the game because I have not played it. But what I am doing is judging the fact that Nintendo pointed to this Direct as a chance to sell us on the price tag, and besides mentioning battle mode is returning, nothing that I thought would actually convince me this game was worth it was even mentioned. And let's talk about battle mode real quick. I'm sorry, this does not look that great. Now, some of the battle courses seem to be inspired by the actual courses themselves, taking place very close by. As long as their designs are actually fun and they're fun to race on, that's fine. What I can't excuse, however, is the utter lack of new battle modes. I'm sorry to keep harping on this, I've talked about battle modes so much recently, but coin runners and balloon battle is the bare minimum. When talking about battle mode, one thing we need to remember is that this game is called Mario Kart World. The open world permeates every facet of this game, from Grand Prix where you drive from racecourse to obviously free roam mode where all you do is just run around an open world, or I guess drive around. So why does battle mode once again feel like a tacked on afterthought? Imagine having a way larger section of the open world that continuously gets smaller in an almost battle royale type format for battle mode. New battle modes like that, or hell, even bringing back old ones like Renegade Roundup that would benefit so much more from having 24 racers, would have made so much sense and actually would have helped battle mode once again not feel like a tacked on side mode. The idea of an open world 24 player Mario Kart lends itself much better to battle mode than it ever did for Grand Prix. Yet everything we've seen of battle mode so far shows to me that Nintendo just didn't really care about making this battle mode truly something special, and instead just added in the most bare bones possible mechanics so they could slap battle mode on the back of the box. Anyway, I'm sure this game will be fun, and I will most definitely log a bunch of hours into it. But going off what Nintendo has shown so far, besides an open world and rail riding, I don't know if this is as big of an upgrade from something like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to justify an $80 price tag. Let's go over some things that are just blatantly missing that needed to be in the Direct. 200cc is still not confirmed for this game. I will pray that Nintendo is not dumb enough to get rid of 200cc. In fact, I'm very confident they would not do that. It was in damn Mario Kart Tour. I mean, you had to pay for it, but it was at least in the mobile game. However, the fact that they haven't even shown it and couldn't be asked to throw in a sentence about it during the Direct boggles my mind. They didn't hint at any sort of single player mission mode or campaign, soft confirming that free roam is literally just driving around an open world with P-switch challenges. Again, they look fine, but I would like something larger in scope than grab 8 coins. The open world looks so good that it's begging for something larger in scope. The P-switches are only one piece of the pie though. The Peach medallions and the question mark panels are both also not explained. Maybe there's more to that than what meets the eye, but it should have been shown. If they did something super interesting, I feel like they would have shown it, especially after pointing to this Direct as a reason it's worth $80. There was no mention of DLC either. Even just mentioning that this game would be getting free content updates would have cushioned the price tag, but it wasn't mentioned at all. I understand it's weird to talk about DLC for a game before it releases, but they've done that with games like Splatoon in the past. Moving on to some stuff they did confirm, but actually looked pretty disappointing. The Yoshi Burger food item literally just does nothing other than give you a boost and unlock a costume. For a game we may spend another 11 years with like Mario Kart 8, it is incredibly odd that one of the big new features they decide to talk about is something that will become utterly useless after a few hours of playing. Once you have all the costumes unlocked, this is a mushroom in a different font. If you see the bag, you're incentivized to grab it. Obviously that means you might want to pick it up, but most of the time I wouldn't want to change my costume for my character. I chose the costume myself, so why would I want to get something that swaps it? Speaking of which, oh my goodness, the character select looks really bad and cluttered. I'm not really talking about the roster itself here, and just specifically the menu. Why are all the different costumes their own spots on the menu? That blows my mind. Mario Kart 8 already had it figured out, man. Just make it like a folder. This is way worse. Speaking of characters, again, the roster is already the biggest in series history, so I'm not complaining there. But the fact that the Switch 2 Direct and Treehouses showed off the entire roster as far as we know, and they didn't even save a single new character for this Direct or to even tease in this Direct, is kind of a microcosm as to why I'm so disappointed in this Direct and I do not see this game as worth $80. It's like they wanted to blow us all away at once so badly that they saved nothing for after the initial Switch 2 Direct. If anything, it should have been the other way around. Tease some of the game's features in the Switch 2 Direct, let people get mad about the price tag, and then blow us away in the dedicated Direct. Okay, now I want to go over some of the arguments I've heard as to why this game is $80. Because you guys have just heard me yap about why I don't think it is, so I wanted to go over some of the reasons why people do think it is, and then yap about why I disagree with those reasons. As always, please let me know down in the comments below why you think this game is worth $80 if you do. Again, I don't mean to be saying like, oh, it's not worth $80, as in like no one should buy this game. Again, I will be buying this game. It will sell really well. I'm just saying from a consumer perspective, what have they actually done to justify a $20 price increase here? I'm not entirely sure. First argument I've seen is that this game has way more than 30 courses because of intermissions. Specifically in the Direct as well, they showed that you can choose 2 different courses in versus mode, and the game will include the intermission, aka driving along like the highway in the open world, from course A to course B, which obviously, yes, is new content, but to say that this even comes close to replicating or replacing genuine new tracks is a complete bail of Nintendo and a thought process that fundamentally misunderstands game design and how Mario Kart works. To call these intermissions remotely similar to new tracks is absurd. They don't have their own theming, they don't have their own music, but most importantly, they do not have their own comprehensive design or ethos that makes a Mario Kart track a Mario Kart track. Whether you notice it or not, you definitely feel it, because when playing a Mario Kart track, the developers and track designers are consistently building throughout the track, introducing new mechanics, building off those new mechanics. Every lap in a good Mario Kart track is paced to perfection, purely designed with the intention of allowing players to have fun while on those tracks. The intermissions are not that. Not only do they not have their own theming, and plenty of the ones we've seen don't have their own gimmicks or anything like that, but they're just inherently different and do not look as fun, because while one is purely designed to create a fun racing environment, those being the actual Mario Kart tracks, the other is designed to get racers from point A to point B while trying to make it as enjoyable as possible to get there. These intermissions do not replace tracks, not even close. And it's absurd that some people seem to think they do. I am glad they have them, and I really like the feature where you can choose which intermissions you want to put in versus mode. That is additional content that will keep people engaged. I'm glad we have them, but they do not even come close to replacing the actual new tracks. Especially to your average consumer, which once again is who Nintendo targets with Mario Kart. Not only will these intermissions not count as actual tracks, I mean they're not really memorable, but to then see tracks like Crown City and Peach Stadium recycled within different Grand Prix is an incredibly hard pill to swallow. Yes, 96 tracks again, which is what we obviously got in 8 Deluxe with the Booster Course Pass, was never gonna happen. Even 48 was a bit of a stretch considering that's what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe launched with, but it was actually just the DLC from Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. However, you know who doesn't care about that at all? The ultra casual people who want to buy this game, because Mario Kart at its core is an ultra casual game. So to see the price get increased drastically while the number of core tracks gets decreased is an incredibly hard pill to swallow. The next argument I've seen is that open world alone justifies the price. Does it? First of all, the open world has a ton of drawbacks. The main one being we're getting less tracks in this game because Nintendo designed a whole open world. Additionally, courses like Grumble Volcano that change throughout the race are really cool, and before Mario Kart World got announced, that was one of my main hopes for this game. I wanted to see more tracks that dynamically changed, whether it was through, I don't know, a Wonder Flower or just the track itself. That seems even more unfeasible now. We haven't really seen any of that, and it seems super unfeasible that Nintendo would ever include that, because how do you make a track change like that when it's part of a larger open world? So yeah, the open world does have some drawbacks, but it also has obviously good things too. First of all, just being able to drive around an open world Mario Kart game is sick. But again, what do you actually do while driving around? The P-switches look cool, and I'm glad there's at least something to do there. And it pains me to say this, but everything we've seen of the open world so far, including the P-switches, look like Ubisoft tier copy and paste missions. I'm not even entirely sure that going to open world is a worthwhile trade. I'm excited for it because again, I wanted something to shake up the gameplay pretty dramatically, and open world definitely does that, but considering the potential constraints and drawbacks that the open world provides, I am not at all a part of the camp that believes just turning the game into an open world game makes it worth $20 more. Another argument I've heard pretty consistently is that, oh, the game isn't out yet, there's definitely stuff they haven't shown. Yeah, fine, I hope you're right, but they're doing a horrible job of marketing the game then. even if you're really excited for this game like I am. Just open your eyes and see the amount of people who aren't or are having trouble justifying the price. I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but when Nintendo points to a Direct as a way to justify the price and then doesn't show off a single new feature besides like what, a tacked on battle mode and rewind? I mean, come on. If you're new to this channel, I would implore you to take a look at our past videos. I am a Nintendo fan, obviously. I am not some grifter who derives enjoyment out of talking bad about Nintendo. I'm sure this video's title and thumbnail will get screenshotted and put on Twitter or whatever, and people will be saying, oh, how can you judge the game? It's not even out. Normally, that is my thought process too. Normally, I do not want to talk bad about a game before it is released. But the fact that Nintendo heard the price complaints, then pointed to this Direct, which had nothing, it's so baffling and makes me kind of worried that there's just not that much else in this game. But again, even if there is more in this game, I am not talking bad about the game itself. If you view the game, all 22 gigabytes or whatever of it, in a vacuum, it looks incredible. I mean, this will probably be my game of the year regardless. What I am criticizing though is their marketing, because the line of thinking that says, oh, they might have stuff they haven't shown off yet. You know what? They did show off the damn price tag. People are not going to buy this game based off a promise of, oh, there might be stuff hidden in it that Nintendo hasn't shown off yet. Last thing I want to talk about here is inflation, and I'll make this quick because I don't want to dive too deep into this. There are so many reasons why the inflation argument doesn't make sense, but I'm going to stick to the most basic one that I think everyone watching this will be able to understand. Yes, inflation has gone up within the last 20 years or so, or whenever they started pricing games at $60. But that is not some silver bullet argument. You have to understand the context of inflation. Nintendo is not releasing this game to nobody. They're releasing it into a market filled with actual people with real life struggles. Inflation has gone up, cost of living has gone up way further than inflation. That's not proportional. But you want to know what hasn't gone up proportionally? Wages. People are not getting paid more to deal with inflation. Expendable income. That hasn't gone up proportionally. When releasing a game into a market, you have to look at your target consumers. A lot of Nintendo's target consumers for Mario Kart are struggling. They're struggling to pay rent or buy groceries with inflations and tariffs, whatever. So for a company with what, 60 billion in cash on hand to try and charge more for a video game, which keep in mind, forms of entertainment are the first thing to go when recessionary times hit and inflation gets really bad, it does not seem like a good decision. Yeah, I don't know, man. I understand the concept of inflation. Yes, okay, prices have gone up, but when you look at the factors surrounding it, it is a very bold move, I will just say, from Nintendo. Especially when 2 years ago, they released Tears of the Kingdom at $70 and said that was an exception going forward, not the rule. I guess they're right. The rule is now $70 is the base, and the exception is $80. So besides the novelty of the open world, there's enough here to justify the game's existence for sure. Again, I am going to play this game and I'm going to love it, but enough to justify an $80 price tag to an average consumer, which is who Nintendo targets with Mario Kart. I don't know, man. It might be a little tough. Look, I'm a huge fan of this series, and I've had multiple people that know I'm a huge fan of the series who I know aren't big Nintendo fans or even gamers in general. Hit me up and text me being like, damn, the new Mario Kart is $80. I think that price tag is shocking to a lot of people, deservingly so. And when Nintendo responds to criticism about that price tag pointing to this Direct, both in their own presentation and directly to the media, then they come out with essentially a 15-minute overview trailer that could have been an email, revealing a couple of features but lacking any sort of big surprise. It's hard for me to say that Mario Kart World is worth $80, at least from what we know of it right now. Again, I'd like to make this clear. I have not played the game, but from a marketing perspective, what Nintendo has done so far is basically show off a new Mario Kart really well, but they have done a horrible job of justifying why this game deserves to be a 33% more expensive product than the last Mario Kart game. All right, this was definitely one of the more ranty, negative videos I think I've ever done on this channel, which is kind of bumming me out because, again, I am really excited for this game. The next video I'm working on is 10 things we've seen that have me over the moon, but I simply felt obligated to make this video due to the discourse I've been seeing online because I disagree with so much of what the Nintendo community has been saying in regards to this game, and I'm fortunate enough to have this platform, so I wanted to get my thoughts out there. Don't worry though, plenty of positive Mario Kart videos coming soon. Feel free to drop your thoughts down in the comments below. With that out of the way, I'm Thomas from The Switched Up, signing off. Peace.